Welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going over the Planetary Qualifier that happened at Exor Games on May 3rd. So this was the first Planetary Qualifier to come to the Maritimes in Canada, so the far east coast. And Exor Games definitely deserve to get this one. They are a top-notch store that go above and beyond, not only for weekly play, but they support the game with, singles, boxes, accessories, the whole gamut. So definitely a deserving store, and thankful to have it. Not only that, but I also live 15 minutes away from this store and was able to live stream the entire event, 9.5-hour live stream. We did not have commentating, but we did mic up the players that were on the feature table, and it went better than I ever expected. So very, very pleased with how it all went down. It was a lot of fun. We did only get 20 players at this one, but I think that's just the beginnings of bigger and better tournaments as the game matures and more people jump on board. So I wouldn't say let the 20 player total, deter anyone from this, because there were some really great games and some really incredible players. Not only that, Exor Games, they do it upright. They actually brought the 501st Legion. There was a Vader, a couple Stormtroopers, and R2-D2 that were there, which was pretty damn cool to walk in the store and Vader's wandering around force choking people. They also stayed for the gameplay, so they were there for a couple hours, just watching games, keeping an eye on people, making sure that they're not cheating. No cheaters here, though. We actually had some really great players, so it was kind of cool seeing that. Prizing, they left the prizing out on the table just to tease us all on what we could possibly win if we played without making a ton of mistakes. Vader looking over his empire, recruiting new stormtroopers. Like, it's so awesome. You could also see in the background there, so there's like that black tarp on the ceiling draped down over that brown divider. So the night before the event, Jessica and I went in, and with the help of some locals, Fraser mainly, and Brent, who works at the store here, we got the internet hardwired into the laptop, and we figured out the lighting, because when we first set it up, you could not see a single card on the table. There was so much glare. So with blocking out some lights, putting up some dividers, making a few changes here and there within the camera settings, we were able to put on a pretty darn good quality stream. You could see all the cards, you knew exactly what was happening, and I couldn't be happier with how it all turned out. Also, hardwiring the laptop into the internet was a big win, because it connected, so the connection was so strong. It made it super easy, and I wasn't stressing, because I did decide to play in the game. I was going to commentate, but I just really wanted to max out the amount of players that were there, and I just love playing the game. So I was torn between the stream and then also playing, but it actually worked out really well. We mic'd up each player that was on the feature table so that it wasn't just like watching a silent film. And between that and the chat was super active, a lot of great people that came through the chat from all over the world, from Australia, States, Mexico, all throughout Canada, UK. It was pretty cool to see, because we were up against, the regional qualifier that was happening, and I think there was 11 other PQs happening that day, or that weekend. So there was a bunch on that day. Either way, we were up against a lot of different streams that were happening, and pretty happy with how ours turned out. So we were the first one in Canada, the first stream in Canada, and probably one of the first PQs, because we're on the East Coast. So all in all, it turned out really good. Just another one. You can see me there taking on Sebastian. He was on Bosk Blue. He did end up winning the whole thing, but him and I had some pretty great battles. I was on Poe ECL, which was just supposed to be a deck I took and got knocked out and then switched over to commentating. But I had worked really, really hard on the deck and did a ton of testing, and it performed like, not that I didn't expect it. It performed as expected. It's kind of a mid-range aggression deck. So if you guys are interested, you can check out the tournament results, and you can see the deck list there. I could also do a video, I guess. Not many people running Poe, but I think it's a half decently strong deck that surprises a lot of people, and by the time they figure out what they should be doing, they've already lost. So very, very happy with how it turned out. The top 8, this handsome bunch of people right here, a lot of great players. Fraser with his Pew Pew Star Wars shirt on, fantastic. I couldn't believe I made it to top 8. I was pretty happy with that. Then we have let's look at this one here first. The champ, Sebastian. That mat looked so incredible in person. Like, I was pretty pumped for him. I would have loved to win. I just like winning, but I mean, I was happy that it went to someone that was so deserving. He definitely played that deck extremely well. I also let him borrow my Bosk showcase, so he looked the part. I lent out a couple showcases, Yoda showcase and then a Quillen Boss showcase as well. So as many people were sporting showcases because it's just fun, right? Showcases and hyperspace bases is what I say. That's what you got to run. Then we had the stream setup. So as you can see, people are like back in this little cave. The lights were a super big issue, as they are anytime you go mobile. And I had to bring 4 lights of my own, because you don't want the light to be coming from overhead. You want it to be coming from like sweeping across the table. So you don't want this down light. You want it kind of going across. And we were able to achieve that with this setup. As you can see, this is the other side of that area. And it was plenty bright in there. Players didn't have any problem seeing what was going on. And these lights set up like this, which I just bought these on Amazon. They were, I think it's $100 Canadian for 2 of them, a set of 2. And it worked really, really well. So yeah, we were pumped. I did end up coming 4th in this PQ. So this was my prize stack, I guess. I got all sorts of black ones because obviously there wasn't a ton of players there. And Exor, as a store, they don't just hold on to stuff to sell in the aftermarket. They just give them to the players that were there. I also got one of the initiative counters or tokens for the PQ. So that was something that I kind of wasn't really expecting, and I forgot that they even existed because I never thought I would make top 4. But I knew the deck could. If I drew the way I drew and played as tight as I did, then I knew I could get there. Especially after first round, playing against Bosk and taking it right to time, knowing that I could survive. I had a pretty good feeling going into round 2, 3, 4, etc. So it ended up being 5 rounds of Swiss, and then top 8, cut to top 8. So as you can see, Exor Games also gave each entry a metal hand marking token, which again, unexpected, but incredible. Like, they're so freaking nice. They're hefty, and just something that you're just like, wow, I can't believe we're getting this. Like, this store just keeps on giving. We also did not think we were going to have a lunch break. We thought we were just going to have to play like crazy people right into the evening. And all of a sudden, Exor, one of the managers there, said, pizza will be here in 5 minutes. So we'll take a break after this round and enjoy pizza. So I don't know what stores are doing that. I'm sure there are some out there, but that's pretty damn incredible. So all the pizza got eaten up real quick, and we continued on with the day. So pretty hype. The stream. So I just took this screenshot. So as you can see, I had some custom overlays made up. Big shout out to Jessica, because she had to listen to me for a month straight obsessing over overlays. And I may do a separate video on that. I don't really want to get into the overlay situation too much on this, but if you watch the stream, you could see that we had some really nice overlays done up for each different screen. The Be Right Back, stream starting soon, stream has ended, this, the gameplay area, and they worked perfectly. So we were able to show the leaders. Those places right there where you can see the leader in the base, those are actually made to show the player themselves. So I was going to bring an additional 2 cameras so that you could see the players, but after talking to a few different people, they weren't necessarily comfortable being on stream like that. So I figured for our first PQ, for first big tournament, it'd be best just to mic people up and keep the face cams off and just throw the leader in base. So that worked out well. In the future, if we decide to do that, I can always just move the leader in the base down lower and kind of make the logos and stuff smaller, rearrange things a little bit, but pretty pumped with how this turned out and how clear everything was. Like, it looks clear in this, but it was even more clear when you actually go and watch it. So pumped. I'm going to throw you guys over to a different screen just so we can show off some of the prizing. So just give me a second here as I try and figure out how to use this thing. Okay, so as I already showed you in the picture, I got a bunch of black ones. So I got the one for entering, and then I think I might even have more of these. I think I have three play sets, and then like an additional one. So that's I got all the black ones, which is funny because I actually run the prestige editions in my Poe deck, so it's not something that I need it per se, but I am not going to sell them or trade them. They're just going to stay in my collection. When I'm 80, Jessica and I will be breaking out our Star Wars Unlimited cards, playing games, trying to keep our memory sharp, you know, our minds firing on all cylinders. So as you can see, I got the top 8 home one. Again, something that I'll probably just get like a hard plastic where I can display this. And I was pumped just to get the top 8. And then I was like, all right, I'm going to get put out in top 8. And then I ended up winning my top 8 matchup, and I got into the top 4. And that's where I hit the big wall, and it was Bosk Blue again. So our first meeting in round 1, he won 2 games to 1. And so I won the first game in that one, and then he won the next 2. In this one, he won the first game, I won the second game, and then he won the third game. And yeah, he double teched me into a restock, which was the end. I was so close. I was so close. He actually ran out of cards in his deck before I ran out of cards in mine. I just, in between game 1 and 2, I took my entire sideboard and put it into the deck. So I was running 60 cards, and I would just resource like Heroic Sacrifice and stuff like that. And I just kept all my units, and I just kept spamming the board as much as I could. But I mean, it was just like, I would put out something, Power of the Dark Side. I would put out something, Open Fire. I would put out something, whatever. Like there was another removal. It was just like, and it just went on and on and on like this. And I would get them close, and then Vigilance. And then I'd get them close, and then Vigilance. So top target. So it just was one of these. It was a back and forth battle, and he played perfectly. Like, he did exactly what he needed to do. And my sideboard, I didn't really spend a lot of time building out my sideboard. And that's something that I'm kicking myself for, because I think I could have teched my sideboard differently, because most of the cards that were in it were useless and didn't really need to be there. And I could have put in some different cards that would have helped me against the more control matchup. So live and learn. I'm just figuring this out as I go. I didn't even know how to build a deck to be competitive when I first got into this game. And here we are. You know, I've been following this game since they talked about the release 2 years ago. And I played my first games that summer online, and then played right up until release. And then I started building the gaming table and stuff like that. So I've been in deep. I'm in real deep. Exor, they gave us these really cool metal tokens. X-Wing on one side, TIE Fighter in the other. All the inlay is all painted. Super thick. Like, absolutely incredible. This was I'm so pumped to have this. I'm going to take this to every single tournament I play in from now on. That is going to be in the deck box. And this ended up being like pretty much my favorite thing that I got. So this here initiative token, as you can see, it is for the Jump to Light Speed Planetary Qualifier. And I don't know what to do with this. Like, do I hold on to this? Do I keep this safe? Do I use it? Will this end up wearing off? Because I wore off a couple other initiative counters, like the paint on them and stuff. Or is this made different so that it's not going to wear off? I don't know. Let me know if you know. And maybe I should just put this on a shelf and keep it safe. I've got a little bit of a collector bug in me. So all in all, this PQ was probably my favorite day of Star Wars Unlimited to date. I went to a PQ in Montreal during the first round of PQs. There was 117 players in that one, and it was kind of a bummer. It wasn't a great run event, and I walked away from that with a legal authority promo and what felt like a kick in the teeth. It was very expensive to travel to Montreal, and just the way the tournament was run, it just seemed very basic, especially now that I've been to an Exor Games PQ, and it was night and day different. So I don't know, I guess it just depends on the store and how committed they are to the game, but I can tell you this right now, Exor is super committed. Now, do I think all the PQs should be in the Maritimes at Exor Games? Not necessarily. Like, I would be open to other stores having a chance at a PQ. I would just hope that they take it as serious as Exor did, and they go above and beyond to make it another best day. Because hands down, best day in Star Wars Unlimited for me was this PQ. Not only did we get to stream it, which I have absolutely fallen in love doing and figuring out, but I got to play in it and did pretty well. So pumped. And I guess that kind of makes it so PQs in general, I think Canada got 6 or are getting 6 PQs for this season, and I think that's a good number. I think maybe FFG could reduce the number from 128 back down to 64. Just do the top 8 and maybe add a couple in the bigger cities. But I know like there was other cities that had millions and millions of people that only got they didn't even hit 50 for players. So us hitting 20, I mean, I think that's actually half decent. And I think if we had another one, there would be more. I think we'd get up to that 30. And then if there was another one, I think we would even increase it. And I think it would just keep increasing as time goes on and the game grows and people see how the tournaments are run here. Plus, us streaming the actual tournament, I think, is something that most places don't do. And I think that hurts the appeal to go and play in them. I think when there is a stream and people can go back and they can watch and be like, I was there for that. I think that is worth something. And I think FFG does. I think they believe that as well. It's great exposure, especially like we had literally people from all over the world in our chat and watching. And even now, like almost a week later, it's still getting 100 views. Like, I think it's gotten 200 views in the last 2 days. So it's still out there. It's still working. It's still being seen, and people are finding it worthwhile to watch. So I think I'm going to wrap this up here. I might do another video just on like the overlays and the whole streaming side of things, because that is its own beast. I think it was 4 hours the night before the tournament doing the initial setup, making sure that everything was going to be good. And then the morning of the tournament, I went in at registration time and spent an hour making sure everything was, working properly. Mics were all hooked up and everything was going the way it should. So that's it. Huge thanks to Exor Games, Brent at Exor Games. He's been kind of the guy there that has been organizing the weekly and stuff like that. So he does a lot of the behind the scenes work. All the managers, employees there have been amazing as well. The owner, and shout out to Jessica, obviously, because she puts up with my craziness and the whole overlay. I don't think she ever wants to hear the word overlay again. So she's happy that they are done. Fraser for helping with the setup and the teardown, and then just the rest of the community here and around the Maritimes. I also think we had someone from Quebec and Ontario here as well. So, we had some reach. Anyway, with that, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you guys so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, leave a comment, a like. It really, really helps with growing our community and the channel. And we're just trying to spread the greatness of what Star Wars Unlimited is. All right, we'll catch you on the next one. Hold up a second. I need to make sure that I jump back in here for a quick second and thank the 2 judges from the PQ, Joshua and Corey. You guys did an amazing job. We were so thankful to have you guys there making all the different calls that were needed. And we couldn't have asked for 2 greater people to judge that event. And I really, really hope we get to see you guys at future Star Wars Unlimited events around the Maritimes. So thank you. Now we'll catch you on the next one.